Hi, and welcome to episode 1 of Choral Kaleidoscope. I'm Janelle Dill, also known to you as D'Amoretti Teddy Seussa. And today I'm going to read for you, or going to talk about a poem from a book I released last year called Neurodiverstory, a celebration of disabled life, which I had written and had illustrations provided by a dear friend of mine, Hope Breeding, who also illustrates and poses on Instagram under the name of Beauty and Chaos. The poem itself has a picture called Pink Walker Lady. If you want to look it up, go ahead and look it up on Amazon. You can look up the book on Amazon or Lulu, and you can find the illustration there. So here it goes. Disabled and proud. I say it loud, I am disabled and proud. I am part of this community, so diverse and so unique. Some gatekeepers try to keep me out, asking for my ID, as if I were faking it sometimes and I should not be included. I disregard their grumbling and move ahead. Sometimes I get tired of proving it, with a medical form or a list of medications, as if that will appease the crowd. I know the critics will never be satisfied. Still, I walk on with supporters who see me and know my story, which I share so often they know it by heart. They agree when I say aloud, I am disabled and proud. It took me years to arrive, to quit hiding behind the mask, pretending I was okay, or thinking I would never get here. Yet here I am after miles of travel, of rest stops and regroups. I've arrived at last. I can say with my voice, I am disabled and proud. No one can say otherwise. This poem means a lot to me because I really wanted to have my friend Hope Reading put an illustration to go with the poem, and I didn't know how to put a picture with that. So I kind of messaged my friend Hope and said, "Hey, could you be wanting to illustrate for the book?" And she's like, "Yeah, sure." And so she came up with a couple illustrations, and then there was one that really stuck out for me. There's a couple of them actually, but one that I think really emulated the piece Disabled and Proud, and it was the Pink Walker Lady. The way she just kind of carried herself was like, wow, that's what I think of. Just somebody who just stood there and went, you know what, I'm disabled and proud. And she has a mobility aid. And I thought that's real. And she looks so cool with her sunglasses on and her well-dressed outfit. I know not everyone in disabled community looks as awesome as she does. But I think she's pretty cool. And writing this poem for me was a reflection on my own journey as a disabled person, because I've gotten a lot of flack from people who make themselves gatekeepers of the disabled community. And I've had a lot of them say I was faking my disability a lot of times and saying that I can't be that sick. And they thought that I was, and one time when I was starting out with, as a ambassador of purple, which is another term for saying epilepsy advocate, where you spread awareness about epilepsy. And one time I wanted to do an event for epilepsy awareness in my town, and I contacted someone from an organization, and I wanted to do a presentation, and I wanted to share it in the community. And they said, "Oh, well, that's nice, Janelle, but," and here came the big but, "you need to have a medical specialist on hand from the Neurological Association if you want to talk about this. And you can't talk about these things unless you have a medical degree." And then they wanted to know if I had a PhD in this and blah, 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 blah. And I would say, what? And they sent me the email on it. So I said, no, thank you, but no thank you, in a very tactful manner via email. And it made me feel like I couldn't share my own story. and downgraded me to the only way I could talk about my disabled story was if I had a PhD attached to my name or if I had medical knowledge of it. I don't profess myself to be a medical expert. I do a lot of listening to fellow disableds, and I do my own homework on it, especially on my own disabilities. If I want to know something, I look it up or I ask someone. But to say that, and the worst part about it was, the person that they wanted me to have was my former neurologist, who I just did not get along with at all. And he would just talk over my head and make me feel like I was a complete fool and disregarded anything I'd tell him. And that really hurt. So I just sort of stepped back from having other people work with me in that sort of sense, and it really made me angry. And I thought, if I can't tell my story as a disabled person, and the only way I'm allowed to do it is if I have a medical expert on hand, and the average person who wants to learn more about it has to listen to medical jargon, it'd be too confusing for one thing. And another thing is, how am I supposed to connect with fellow disabled if all they hear is just a medical expert speaking through me? Or speaking for me, rather. It's not helpful at all. It's telling me that I can't talk about my own disability. So I became a writer instead and sharing my own story in another way. I still advocate about my disability and about disabled world because I'm epileptic, and I share about my epilepsy and my other disabilities. So I just share it through my writing, and I speak at music fests and at the music festival, and online is another way of speaking about it. So for me to take pride in speaking about my disabled life, it just became another way to reach out. And so for me, Disabled and Proud is a way of looking back on my journey from being told that I can't talk about my disability unless I have a medical expert on hand to, see, I can talk about my disability and I don't have to have a PhD to talk about it, or be told that I'm not disabled enough and I'm always constantly battling it. And this poem is a reflection on it, to look back now at my early advocate self and say, you know what? You don't need to have a PhD to do this. You can do this without a PhD, and you can communicate with people without feeling like a complete fool every time you're doing it. Yes, you will make mistakes, but you know what? You can do it, and you will have a wonderfully supportive community who will back you up every time. So that's what Disabled and Proud means to me. Next time, I will pick a poem from another book. This time, it will go back to the first book I published under the name of D'Amoretti Teddy Seussa, called Purpleology. And that will be fun. I can't wait for next time, and I hope you've enjoyed this program. Please subscribe to my channel. And if you enjoy what you're listening to and you want to check out the poems, please visit my WordPress page. WordPress page is Plasmnetic. That's plasmnetic.wordpress.com. And you can subscribe to that. Or you can always check out my Patreon page. Patreon page is patreon.com/epivision and become a member and support my work. For as little as $3 a month, you can become a member and get newsletters, the newest information from yours truly, and you can get some free stuff like stickers. And you can continue to see other videos on this YouTube channel and check out more work. Thank you so much, and I can't wait to talk to you next time.